But your mind knows between these people here, one another, and it is done. And before you know it, the situation is cleared. Because your mind has already been programmed with the key word of Ho'oponopono. Yes?
Would you say that the forgiveness list that Ponder uses is similar to it?
I would say Catherine Ponder's list is somewhat similar, yes. I would say, and is just as effective on many people, which I'm sure.
Last year in our seminar, we had Dr. Onimus, and he was showing where his low self and his middle self were coming together, and the way it came together is he had a forgiveness list.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I'd like to make a comment at this time for all of you to understand, when we're working in a case like this, they have a home, they have a property, we go back into time, to the time where that property came from, and we go back beyond that to the divine forces that owned the property, that pervaded the earth before we ever came on earth. And I think Professor Johnson brought that point out about our own concept of creation. So when these things forces have been there, divine forces, before we ever came, it behooves us to go back into that period and say, what have we done with these things? Have defiled them. We've violated the natural laws, the laws of God. So this is why you go all the way back to your divine forces. You go all the way back to your Aumakuas. Every one of us have Aumakuas. You go all the way back to your ancestors. Without our ancestors, we would not be here. Yes.
What about the use of the individual's name?
The question comes up of individual names. Oh, what do you mean?
Well, what was the husband's name, the wife's name, and your husband's name?
This is interesting. She's asking, what about the husband's name and the wife's name? In this particular case, I'd like to say, in this particular case, we do not want identities, because I don't know who she is. But the identity and link is Mr. Yes. Stephen Varro. So the connection, or the Aka cord, connects to him, and him to these, to the deceased, to the children, and anyone else related. See, this is the concept. Now the reason is, in my years of work with, ever since I was a child, we did what we call broken bones, which I worked with. And I used to wonder that we did this absentee treatment to someone in Switzerland, 2 people in a hotel, the name is Smith. Why is it that the other Smith didn't get healed, but just this particular Smith got healed? And then I pondered and started to go down and down, try to investigate on that, and I realized that the woman who informed us had called from Switzerland to London, London to Honolulu, and so the healing went en route that way. So it's the Aka cord connection, so it connects through him and through these people and anyone related. Is that clear? Now we have another case. Yes.
I have a question. Why do we have to include ourselves in that particular case?
You are the operator. You are contributing to this.
Or we couldn't do it just for them without asking?
No, I could do it by myself, but I'm doing...
Why do we have to include ourselves and ask for forgiveness for ourselves?
No, we're not asking forgiveness, ourselves, because we might have a karmic tie with that person. And those people have a karmic tie with you. So there's a possibility. Always think of karmic ties. They are very important. Yes? Oh, it doesn't matter. He's lived in this area for so long that it shouldn't... Is everybody scared of mouse? Well, he's one of God's creations, so it's okay. Poor thing, he's afraid of you. Don't worry about it. Just leave him alone. Don't worry about it, right? So I think we have another... is this understandable to all of you? What time is it getting? We'll do a, yes, it's possible, yes. Thank you. But we were doing this as a quickie. But this is good because we'll go through the breathe, because your instructions are you do your breathing and then you go to that which is there. Thank you, Martha. We do the breathing exercises and then you go into this, which is normal like your meditation, breathing. It's a conditioning. But at this time it's just as effective. May I have this?
Do you need to breathe before each time you do Ho'oponopono?
Do you need to breathe before each Ho'oponopono? I would say yes.
And this is the 7 rounds, 7 in, hold,
Yes, 7 rounds,
hold.
right. Okay.
Is it best to do it absentee? In other words, at the present time, I see clients, like in sessions.
Would you want to come here? Would you state your name and your profession?
My name is Nataraj, and I'm a teacher of meditation and spiritual counselor in a holistic clinic in Los Angeles. And at the present time, I see people on a session basis, so that in any given day, I may see 6 to 7 people. So what my question is, to naturally do a thorough job and to serve optimally, is it laudable to, let's say, see people on a session basis, one right after another, so to speak, and do after consultation and determining what's happening and to get it all out? I have a sense that it would take more time to do this effectively than the way my practice is set up now. So what I'm asking, I guess what my question is some insight into the style of functioning of doing Ho'oponopono for clients when you have a fairly, moderate practice as far as numbers are concerned.
You feel this is time consuming?
Yes, that's my first thought.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, the answer to that is, what is your priority? A thorough workout on a client and case, or just sort of a skimming over? The only reason why I bring this up, I firmly believe in doing a thorough job. I had a health spa at one time, and I made my employees feel that they have to cleanse themselves before and after every operation. It is a cardinal law with me. The reason is, if I don't do a Ho'oponopono between myself and him, and I touch him, we may have karmic problems. And this way, I'm opening the path so that I have a better relationship with him. I'm able to put all the cobwebs and all the debris out of the way, and it makes it easier for my consultation or treatments, whatever they may be, because I'm erasing my karmic ties up to the present. I mean, that's the only reason. But of course, I find too that some of my employees would say, well, I get through with this person, I wash my hands and go over to the next one. What are you doing? You're transferring the problem from this one to the other, whether it's only by phone, letter, or personal, confrontation. Because the vibrations are the same. So this is why I have great reverence for each one I work with. And so I expect to be treated likewise. Excuse me, but the quickie that I brought out, it seems, which is interesting, someone talked to me the other day, a gentleman. He said, what is your short Ho'oponopono? When I said that, he said, oh, it's too long for me. I said, what is too long? It's interesting. But if you measure the good that you need to do, then your results are going to be limited. Yes. Ainsley, did you?
Should you, after you do counseling all day and you work in your room, should you do a Ho'oponopono in your room at the end of the day to cleanse out all the vibration?
Question is, when you're doing Ho'oponopono, should you cleanse your room? Should always cleanse your room before and after. You should always cleanse your bedrooms or wherever you go to in a hotel, no matter where it is. You should always cleanse the room that you have a meeting in, or wherever you have a board meeting. You should always do that. Yes?
Two questions. Should you cleanse before you leave the room?
I would say yes.
Okay, and the second question is, in my profession, I see about 1,000 people a day. What is about the best way for me to protect myself? Do you understand?
In what capacity are you in?
Well, it just depends on the situation. A lot of times people get angry, and I, have to handle their negative situations.
Well, in that case, I would say do a Ho'oponopono between yourself, a quickie, and the patient or whoever it is that you're going to work with. And it is worth it. I don't care what anyone says. It's really worth it. It's worth the time that you take. Yes.
Would you say the 91st Psalm was a Ho'oponopono?
I would say so.
I know of a case where it was written in The Power of Positive Thinking. One of his books, anyway, told about a general in World War II, and his people under him learned the 91st Psalm, and they was in the battles of all, and didn't have a fatality.
This is an interesting point brought up about the effectiveness of the 23rd Psalm.
91st.
Or the 91st Psalm.
Dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High.
Well, I think it's one of the most powerful prayers, and I have used it myself, the 23rd Psalm, because you are conditioning your own subconscious mind, and it feels comfortable. So I feel it becomes more impressed. It becomes impressed by the Psalm that you're saying. 91st is. Yeah.
I have a sense that it would be optimum to do it in absentee. In other words, to counsel and then, so to speak, do your homework with the people that you have.
Would you say that he should teach them to do their own Ho'oponopono?
I agree. I would also like to bring someone said, well, I'd like to learn your Ho'oponopono. I'm going to start a class, and let's see. And I saw little figures on it, and she said, well, I think I'll charge $100. I forbid that, because I have given it to everyone free. I do not expect commercializing it. But if you do, I doubt the effect will be as effective as you'd like to be. Because I find this so true, that wisdom is not to be sold, but to be shared. And I'm sharing, and I have shared, and I expect you to share, as I have. Thank you. So, are we almost home? Is there a case somebody would like to bring up? A very short one, but I had several cases, but